exponential healing. Like, how many of you are ready for freedom beyond imagination? Right? So we get to see this on a mass scale. And so we're still praying that we get to actually have one every night of the week. So we just need Sunday and Friday. Friday's coming. Thank you, Jesus. All right, so if you have kids, we do have a nursery that happens every week after worship. So from the testimony or teaching time through small group for 3 and under, it's back out this door. If you see a little number, you'll be given a number for your kiddo. If you see a number, see where it says nursery call up here? You'll see a number jump up there. If it's your number, that means you're needed. You're needed anyway, but, your child needs you. So keep an eye on that. And then as soon as we're done with small groups, make sure you run and grab your kiddos. I think, is that the last of our announcements, isn't it? Oh, look at that. All right. So Candy, there she is. Come here. I mean, come on, y'all. Can't we be a little excited that Candy gets to share her testimony? Do you want to give her that first, or do you want to pray first? Okay.
I do. Yes, I do. So we are here to celebrate Candy for sure. And if Candy has touched you or helped you or prayed for you or worked with you in your recovery, stand up. Yeah. And we're just doing this for Candy. We're not going to post this, but this is for stand-up boots. I mean, Ronnie. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, we're not posting this, but this is just for Candy. So I want you to know that you have fruit. That you be fruiting, yeah? And that these are people that you have touched, and this is not the sum total of people that you have touched, but this is a good representation of your love that has been poured out on folks. And so it is my distinct honor and privilege to give you your 12-year sobriety coin. Woo! Yeah!
Yes. So cute. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay. Yeah. It's blinging.
It's pretty blinging.
I want to do a close-up.
Yeah, just a minute while Jade gets a picture.
That's right. These are photo opportunities right here.
So cute. Thank you.
It comes with its own purple velvet pouch. Here you go.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Delight, delight, delight. So we, Holly and I would like to pray over you and bless you. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that, but we're going to pray over her first. Thank you. Yes, you should. So after we pray, will you say humility and do the humility step? That's all you have to do. You can do it. She's so impromptu. Well done. You first.
So thank you, Lord, for Candy. Thank you for the life completely wrecked and rebuilt that reflects you. And I thank you for what you have given her that she gets to share, that gets to help wreck us even more so we can be rebuilt even more. So I pray all nerves to just be silenced right now in Jesus' name. And that there gets to be this peace that comes and settles on her like a warm blanket. And she gets to be able to just release what's in her. In Jesus' name.
Amen. So for such a time as this, we're so excited to have Candy in our community. And we just love her to pieces. And so my blessing is not a prayer. It's just an affirmation of what God is doing in our city. And she is one of the key players in our city for transformation, to bring lives back into alignment with their true beloved identity in Christ, clean and sober, and living the Wahoo life, right? In Jesus. So I'm just affirming you right now and telling you that you are a key
Do it again, God. Hello? All right. Okay, so my name is Candy. I am a person in long-term recovery, which means I haven't had a drug or a drink since July 14th, 2008. But I had a lot of help with that. And of course, I've been going to this church for like a year and a half maybe. And so, of course, we also say, you know, my name is Candy. I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. Right? That's what we say. I'm so conditioned for AA. I've been in AA for so long. And so I'm like, hi, I'm an alcohol. And then I look at Christy because she doesn't let me say that here. You know? I am a person in long-term recovery. All right, so I have to tell you that a couple things. First thing, I am so nervous. And the reason why is I've told my story like a million times. Larissa's heard it like, I don't know, 6 or 8 times. She shows up just so I don't lie. That's her. She'll tell you. She'll be like, that's not true. And but I've done it in a lot of places. I've done it. I do it in the jails before, of course, COVID. I go into the jail twice a month. And we speak to any women who want to come out of the pods or holding, whatever you call it, to have an AA meeting. And then Larissa is my partner in that too, and we go and we tell our story. So I've done that. I did it at a church, a Methodist church once, with a bunch of Al-Anon ladies with gray hair, actually blue-gray hair, just saying. And that was really hard because I couldn't curse or say, you know, certain things, and I think I can't curse here either. I'll hear it for a long time. So, but what makes me really nervous about tonight is the last year and a half. I think I entered this church in like April of last year, and the last year and a half has been really like an awakening. The last year and a half has been like deeply personal. So that's why I'm kind of nervous, because I'm gonna show you my stuff, my stuff that I'm working on like right now. Like I got goosebumps everywhere. Like it's gonna happen. I'm nervous. So bear with me. So anyway, I did just have 12 years clean and sober on July 14th, and I got to tell you that. Who did I share this with? Oh, Max. I got to tell you that. You know, I told Max how I felt because I knew that he would listen to it and he would like, you know, he would validate and then he would like, you know, lift me up. But I was just like petty, baloney, petty. This didn't happen, that didn't happen. I'm really upset, you know? And then I think Christina too. I was like, I didn't get a cake. Nobody got me a cake. Nobody got me a sparkly coin. I do that for other people. What's the deal, you know? And then of course I rounded my way to, that's not what it's all about. So it took me a minute, you know, to get out of that and say it's not what it's all about. So the 12 years has been really special because in all that little pettiness, because, okay, first thought wrong. I don't know about you, but sometimes my first thought is wrong and I need to round my way to the second or third. And if the third one is still wrong, then I need to call Christy, and then I need to call my other sponsor. And by the time I get done, hopefully I'll be all right. So this year, it was really special because in the midst of all that first thought wrong stuff, I realized that it's just not about that. It's not about that. What it's about is being, each one of us in this room are a role model, are a leader. It's about being a leader. It's about being somebody who's safe for you to call or reach out to and say, hey man, I'm hurting, I got a problem, I got a drug problem, I got an alcohol problem, I feel like I want to die, and I don't know what to do. And the honor and the respect that they give me when they reach out to me, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, and my self-esteem is a daily thing. So for me to shrink away from a phone call from somebody saying, I need help, because, I don't know, I'm not good enough, or I'm just eating dinner, or I was going to relax, and, I've worked all day. That's what it's all about. Like, I think that sometimes, I'll be honest. But that is not what God would want us to do. And that is not what I was born to do, because I'll tell you, I'm firmly in the belief now that I was born to do what I do today. Right? Stop yelling at me. God, I'm going to go over here. So, on my 12-year birthday, she's going to cry, but I don't care. I've been doing it to her all week. On my 12-year birthday at the podium at the AA place, the hole, I was like, man, it's not what it's all about. And I realized it's about that girl that called me. How many days was it? 8 at that time? What day were we? It was like, it's about that girl that called me 8 days ago that messaged me on Facebook and said, I got a drinking problem and I don't know what to do. Will you help me? And I said, yeah, meet me at a meeting tonight. And she did. And she was on day 8, right? Right? Amen. And now she's on day 11. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Oh, 12? Woo! Day 12. Day 12? How many? Everybody, this is Christina. She's going to kill me. Anyway, day 12, right? All right. And let me just tell you that this human being, and unlike other human beings, I have a few other human beings in this audience that's called me and reached out to me. Man, like, what an honor. And that's what I figured my 12-year birthday is all about, man. And it's all about what we're here, too. So, with that being said, I feel like lately my focus has shifted from, maybe AA and alcohol to things like this. Have you heard about Jesus? So, right? And I'm like, oh, you want to go try church? Oh, you like God? Oh, let me tell you about Faith Foundry. Right? I've done it to you guys over here. I've done it. You got to check it out. And then I tell them where to go, and I tell them about the Grammons. So anyway, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about just a tiny bit of what it was like, and then I'm going to talk about, I got my watch on too, so I can not talk all night. And then I'm going to talk about what happened, like how I got here, and then I'm going to really just focus on what's been like the last year and a half. So what it was like is really similar to what it was like for you if you're in recovery. What it was like for me was darkness. What it was like for me was I was lost. What it was like for me was childhood trauma, childhood sexual trauma, a deceased parent, and a mother that put relationships before me. I can see you all looking at pictures behind me, huh? That was a special moment. That was March 26th of 2020. And they always say that it changes you. I'm like, nah. I'm here to say it did. It kind of messed up some of my stinking thinking and my sins, if you will. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that because I was baptized. That's my son, Caden. He's 12, and that's an adventure that we went on. So, what I picked these pictures for was this, because I am a meth addict. I am a 3-time felon, but and that child right there in the middle, those two on the end are my bonus children. And I'm a grandma now, right? Because those bonus children is a daughter, and they love me enough to make me a grandma and call me mom, right? So that's a good mugshot, too. Yeah. So I want you to look at the eyes. See how sad? So how I got here was I was a meth addict. How I got here was I was abused when I was, in junior high. And I remember the day I walked down the junior high hallway at Joe Lane. And I remember thinking, like, everybody was going really fast, and I was walking really slow, like in a movie. And I felt like I'm the only kid here that's had a dad that died, and I'm the only kid here who has been, sexually molested. And I felt like I was different than everyone, and I was unclean, and I was just like nobody would ever love me again. And now we know, I don't know the right percentage, but now we know, unfortunately, 82% of the people who are in recovery have been sexually abused, or they have been physically abused, mentally abused, or emotionally abused, or all of the above. So, but when you're 12 and you're walking down the junior high hallway, you feel like you're the only one, right? So I moved into high school, and I didn't really fit in, and I didn't know how to fit in, and the people that I fit in with finally smoked weed, and they drank alcohol, so I did. I'll tell you that at 16 years old, or 17, I don't remember, the alcoholism kicked in full throttle. Almost immediately, within 6 months, I was splitting up my friend group. These people drank and used all the time. These people only did it sometimes, and I bounced between both groups. And I immediately became a blackout drinker. I immediately became the girl that throws up. I immediately became the one that passes out on a bed at a party and urinates all over herself. That was me. That's what happened. That's how fast it was. So my dad died of alcoholism when I was 12, like I told you, so it's in the family. And it grabbed hold really quickly. So I was doing that deal. My mom, she got another boyfriend. She left me in the home with my abuser. But I finally got out. And what I think was pivotal was that I got put in rehab when I was 17. And some of you who are old like me remember Douglas Community Hospital. And there was the Gateways unit. And so I went to my first rehab at 17. And before I went to rehab, I tried meth for the first time. And I think it was like a week before I went to rehab because they caught me pretty quick. And I loved it. I loved it. I was hooked immediately. And whatever that was, I don't need anything else. That's what I want. And thank God I was caught 4 days later. Because I didn't get a chance to get to the next weekend so I could get more of that. And I'm really grateful. I went to treatment when I was 17, and I'm really grateful I did that too. If I wouldn't have gone to treatment at 17, I'd be dead right now. I got a counselor who I didn't like, and she was like, she's so prim and proper. And, I was like, I want that counselor over there because he's street smart. He's an addict. But I didn't get him. So my roommate one day revealed to me that she'd also been abused, and that vase that you put in the back of your brain and you put a little cork on it because it's that trauma and you bury it and you don't remember it because our brain has a funny way of doing that. It came off the shelf and broke. And I was like, oh. So I went to that counselor that I didn't like, and I processed that stuff with her, and she helped save my life because she walked me through that. And she walked me through my dad dying when I was 12, and she had me write the letter. I still remember. So I guess the moral of that story is, you never know who your helper is going to be. You never know who is in front of you who's meant to be there. I did not like her. I still remember her name, Tanya Painter. Anyway, I'm done. So I got out of that rehab. I stayed clean and sober for 4 years, and I was the only teenager, and I did lots of stuff, and I worked in rehabs, and I told my story to school auditoriums, Candy at 19 or 20 or whatever. It's hard for me to remember who that girl was. And so when I turned 21, I was working in rehab, and I was like, man, I stopped going to meetings. So this is pivotal. I stopped going to meetings. I stopped using my sponsor. I stopped working my own steps. I stopped reaching out to my support group, and I just went to work, and I just drove my clients to work and back, and I just went to meetings with my clients. That's all I did. Because I went to a meeting, right? I was with my clients. I was working, right? And that wasn't working for me. So pretty soon I was nearing 21, and that voice came up in my head. It was like, hey, man, I want to be normal like everybody else. Why can't I drink? So it didn't last very long. And I had this will date me as well, is a Bartles and James wine cooler at age 21. And so we're going to skip forward, age 21 to 34. There's a lot of stuff in there, but the highlights are drug and alcohol use, abusive relationships, men who were power and control and jealous. I had an anger problem. I had a rage problem. I had a revenge problem. I had I just was lost, okay? But all through those years, though, there would be times when, God would slip me somebody or something, and I'd be, of use to them, and I'd be helpful, and I'd feel better about myself. But alcohol or drugs always played a part. So, 34 years old, I'm living here in Douglas County, and what happened? Let me think. Roseburg Police Department happened. His name was Travis Dahl. Do you guys know him? Raise your hand if you've been arrested by Travis Dahl. Yes, you have, Mr. Slay. Yes, you have. So that cop out there, he was after us, and he got us, and he hooked us up a lot. So I went to jail, and I got out the next day. I had a meth possession, and I went right back to my dealer's house because they were my friends, and they would help me. So what happened was it's called the moment of clarity, and it's called that psychic change. I don't like this word, a paradigm shift, whatever. Anyway, so what happened was there was a change. I went to jail. I did 7 days on the meth charge. I got out. I relapsed, and then I got hooked up again, with cops. But what was important about that is I had gotten pregnant and gone home because I've gotten pregnant because I was couch surfing and selling drugs, and I got pregnant. Perfect time, I thought. Perfect timing, right? I always thought, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till I'm married, to have a baby. I'm going to wait. And then God said, bloop, here you go, 34 years old. And guess what? It was perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect because, as you see in those pictures, that's my boy, God gave me that gift. And he gave me that gift, and he saved my life. That child right there, that gift from God, saved my life. So did drug court, I'll say. So did handcuffs. So did Travis Dahl, to be honest. So anyway, I went to jail. I got revoked and reinstated. I don't even know. I got a mess charge July 2nd, 2008? Yeah, July 2nd, 2008 was the last time I ever went to jail. When I went to jail, they put me in the max tank, right? I was in the minimum tank 7 days ago, and then they're like, Miss Kirby, you're going over here. I'm like, no, you know, because I don't know what I thought. I thought max tank I was going to get like beaten up and stuff, you know. So I went into that tank at those women, and I was scared shitless, and I went into, oh, sorry. Sorry. I'll read the rest of that Bible verse you told me to read tomorrow. So, I know. So I went to the max tank, right? And I was super scared. And there was this lady there. Her name was Bonnie. And we got to talking, and she knew the same people. And this is so cool. I just realized this. You're going to die. So me and her started to talk about the people that we knew, the same people. So we figured out that we knew the same drug people, ran in the same drug culture. Guess who's in this room that we both knew? What's up, Boots? What? I just realized that. How cool is that? How cool is that? 12 years ago, me and Bonnie, what was her name? Oh, I'm going to lose it now. What? Oh, she always remembers. Bonnie Doan. Do you remember her? Bonnie and Jonathan or something. Anyway, so Bonnie sat me down, and she was really mean, and she was like, sit down. When she found out that I had a baby and I was up for drug court and all this stuff and I have meth charges, sit down. I was scared. So I sat down, and she proceeded to tell me her story. She did not tell me her story very nicely. And she was like, listen. My life is over. My life is over, and I'm doing 28 years for robbery, and I have a son, and his name is Connor. And she's like, I want you to look at his picture. And she pushed his picture, oopsie, notes. She pushed his picture across to me, right, real slow, and she made me look at his picture. And he had these beautiful brown eyes, and he was a beautiful little boy. And she said, you see that? That's my son, Connor. And she told me everything that he liked, and everything that he's special. He liked it. I remember all this. He had a car's bed and all this stuff. And she proceeded to tell me the story of how she indulged in meth and robbery and guns and crime and how she lost him. Now he's gone. And she said, don't be like me. I always get goosebumps. All up and down. That's like God moving through me every time I tell that story, because that was God. I know now that was God working through Bonnie to tell me, don't be like me. Don't lose your son. My life is over. You have a chance. That's what she said. And all of a sudden, something clicked. That's it. Whether it was in my head, whether it was in my spirit, whether it was all of the above, something clicked. And I realized that God was trying to tell me something. And he's told me something all my life. He's told me stuff, right? But I heard him. But I couldn't really hear. I wasn't really yet to go, oh, that was my God. I was like, oh, that lady. You know, I just wasn't ready yet, but that was God working through her. So I got out of jail. I did not do anything I wasn't supposed to do. I was in the Hope Drug Court program. I went home. Actually, I didn't get to go home. I went to the Samaritan Inn, and I had to stay there till like 10 a.m., and then I had to go back and take care of my baby. I was not allowed to be alone with my at the time, 3-month-old baby, because CWP said. So they came and visited me in jail, and they said, we're going to put a little safety plan in place. And I was like, you know, and I was just like, whatever, lady, because she looked at me like I was like the lowest of the low, and I was like, whatever. I'm really glad she looked at me like that, because that lit a fire under me. I'll show her, right? So I went through the Hope Drug Court program. I did 30 days of like face-to-faces and stuff, and I stayed in the Samaritan, and I did what I was supposed to do, and I went to AA like every day. Well, because I had to. The judge said, you need to go every day and sign everything. So I did, because let me just tell you, jail food is not good. Raise your hand if you had jail food. Ladies and gentlemen, is it not good? It's so good. Oh, Christy's like, I've had jail food too. Okay. You're right. Loaf. Anyway, moving on. I digress. So, yeah. So, I'll be honest, that was a big motivator. So I went to drug court. I went to my daily face-to-faces, and at the end of 30 days, I met with my CWP worker, Heather Voss. And you know what? She's one of my really good friends now. She tells me happy birthday like every year. And she said, Miss Kirby, and I had all my people with me, right? And I had Gene McVeigh with me. I love that man. He supported me so much. And she said, Miss Kirby, and I had my babe with me, Caden. She goes, I have never heard reports of somebody turning it around so fast as I've heard about you in the last 30 days. And she said, I'm going to go ahead and give you your kid. You guys can go to the Samaritan, and you're going to get ready for your bed in Crossroads. And I was like, wow, wow. So what I did in those 30 days is I went to AA every day. I got a sponsor. I worked the steps. I checked in. I called my sponsor every day, multiple times a day. And I did what I needed to do. So in March of 2020, yeah, I think. That's 2020 is now. Sorry about that. In March of 2010, I graduated the Hope Drug Court program, and I became a free woman, right? And the Hope Drug Court program helped me learn how to live. It helped me to have structure in my life. It helped me to suit up and show up. It helped me to quit lying, or I was going to jail again. And it helped me to get into AA and get into recovery. So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for that cop. I'm grateful for jail. I'm grateful for Bonnie. I've gotten to send Bonnie messages to her. Not so long ago, a few years ago, I saw a boy on Facebook, a picture of my friend and her dad. And she was like, this is my brother Connor. And I was like, wait a minute. So I messaged the dad. I was like, who's Connor's mom? And he said, Bonnie. So I got to see Connor grown up on my Facebook through like two mutual friends, the sister and the dad. So anyway, I thought that was God saying, man, good job, right? So anyway, I graduated Hope Drug Court program. I went to UCC. I didn't go to UCC right away. I worked at Waterscape Spas and Pools for like a year, and I used to steal from them. I used to use drugs on their property, and I had gone to them with a 9th step amends and said, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. I did these things, and you trusted me. And she said, because they're God people like us, she said, you know what? Sometimes God needs to bring you down before he lifts you up. That was her response to me making my amends that I stole from her business. And she rehired me, right? She rehired me. So that job enabled me to get housing in UCAN, and I used UCAN. I had housing. I had my first apartment. I was a felon, and they're like, it's okay. I'm like, but I have a child welfare case. I'm on probation. I'm a drug addict. It's okay. Here's a new house. I'm like, wow, Anyway, so I graduated drug court, and I put off going to school. So God began speaking to me really loud, and God does talk to me. There was one time in the past, of course I know that now, but there was one time in the past where I found a bag of drugs, and I heard, flush it. I swear. I was in a bathroom like this big, and I looked around. I was like, what was that? And I looked at the bag of drugs again, and I heard, flush it. And I was like, what the hell? There's nobody in here with me. And he told me to flush it, and I didn't. So I did go back to jail because I didn't listen. So for a year, I worked at Waterscape Spas and Pools, and I kept hearing God say, go to school, go to school, go to school. Go to school. I'm like, no, you need to be a drug and alcohol counselor. No, everybody in recovery wants to do that. I don't want to be so cliche, right? So finally, I decided I was going to do it. And I had to get my GED because I didn't have my GED. So I was 39 years old. I went to got my GED, and I earned a free term of college because you do like the classes. And so 39 years old, 40 years old, I went to college. And I went to UCC, and I studied for 2 years. And the first college class I was in, I met my favorite teacher, and it was my first class. And she said, okay, everybody, listen, I'm a little ADHD, and if I can hear you eat stuff, or I can see you eat stuff, or I hear it at all, it distracts me, it's gotta go, okay? My rules. And I was like, I'm in the right place. Because if anybody knows me, I may be a tiny bit ADHD. Just a tiny bit, right? Right, Shelby? Just a little bit? Anyway. So I went to college, and my first term at UCC, I thought I was dumb. I thought I did a lot of drugs. I can't be smart. No way, right? No way. My first term at college, I got a 4.0, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I tell that to you not because I'm so smart, and I don't say that to brag. What I say to you is, if there's anybody in this office right now, in this audience, who thinks, God, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I can't do that, that's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie that the enemy tells you to hold you down so he can pour more misery and destruction in your life. It's not true. You know it's not true, right? I can tell. So I went to college, I graduated, I did my internship at ADAPT, and I graduated college, and I was like, yay, and I almost didn't go. Because, like, tonight, I was like, man, I wish I was sick. I don't want to go, I don't want to do this, I wish I was sick. Anyway, I get fearful right before, and then I burst through. So, oh yeah, that's it. So, I graduated, and it was awesome, and I had an AA member, and he said, you gotta go. You got to go. Just live in the moment. Enjoy the moment. You can't miss this. Just stay in the moment. Because I was so afraid that I would sit in that cap and gown. Look, there's my crazy mom in the background. See her? She's crazy. She is crazy. But she's a good crazy. So I was afraid. And there's that teacher who was ADHD in the middle, Jen Woodcock, my favorite teacher. Anyway, I was afraid that I would sit in the audience and put on that cap and gown and something would happen and they would take it away from me. Or they would come up and they would say, hey, sorry, you're missing one credit. We can't do this. Because that's how my brain was wired to think. Addict, alcoholic, it's always going to be bad in the end. It's never going to happen for me. I don't deserve it. But I was wrong, right? So if I can be wrong and I can do this, so can you. So can you. So I graduated and I thought, man, I got summer off. I'm just going to kick it, right? 10 days later, the phone rings, and it's my mentor, Pauline Mortel. I love her. And she was like, hey, there's a job at ADAPT. You should do it. It's a youth outpatient counselor. You'll be working with teenagers. And I was like, I didn't say that to her, though. I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hung up the phone, and I was like, I don't want to work with teenagers who lie. And I had this audible discussion with God, swear. I was like, are you kidding? I just said that out loud. I was like, are you joking? He said, no. Are you kidding me? I don't want to work with teenagers who lie. And he said, go. This is what I want you to do. Actually, he just said, go. And so I went. And I went to the interview, and I interviewed. And this lady who was interviewing me, her face was a scowl. And I was like, oh, my God, this lady hates me. So then the competitor in me said, watch this. So I turned on my charm, and I answered everything really well, and I wowed her, and I was like, yay, and I watched her change, and her face got soft, and she started to smile, and she laughed. I went, yes, I got her. Now, mind you, I was just trying to turn this lady, I wasn't trying to get the job, but it worked, right? So she called me like 4 hours later, you got the job. I'm like, woo, I hung up. I'm like, are you kidding me? I think it was a good 6 months before I stopped saying, are you kidding me? I was. So I worked for ADAPT for 6 years. I worked with teenagers. I worked in the juvenile detention. And I always wanted to work in jail. I always wanted to do RSAT. And I thought, they're like, you gotta get a bachelor's to do that. And I was like, okay. So then I realized when I started my job at juvenile detention that God put me exactly where I wanted to be. I was in jail. I was working in jail with kids. So I did that for like 6 years. Good timing. And I didn't like it at first, and then I became super good at it. And I don't say that to gloat, but I say that because I know, because I would do the same thing to those kids that I did to that lady that interviewed me, and they'd be like, And I got kids who were like 11 to 17, and they had a whole bag of trauma that's bigger than mine was, and they didn't have parents. Or they had foster parents, or they'd been severely beaten. I don't need to go on, but you get the drill. And they were high. They were drug addicts. I'll be honest. So I became really good at it. And what I became good at is everybody has a specialty, right? Right, Sean? And I became really good at they would give me the chronic relapsers and the kids with a high criminality. So I would get the true blue drug addicts that did the same stuff I did, right? And so I would work with them, and I would gain their trust. And if you want to gain a teenager's trust, you got to be transparent. So I'm grateful and blessed that I get to be who I am today at work, as I am today. I get to be authentic, so it becomes pretty easy. it becomes really easy to move through my work and my professional day. So I worked there for like 6 years, and I think I got burnt out like 2 years into, I got burnt out like, year 4 or 5, and I got really burnt out the last year. And last January, last January, my boss made me mad. So I picked up the phone and I called Serenity Lane, and I was like, hey, to the boss. I think Elizabeth answered the phone. And I was like, hey, do you know who I am? To him, to Tony, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, I was kind of thinking that I might want to take something different. Do you have anything available? Are you interested? And he said, yes and yes. Be here Monday at 9 a.m. Click. And I was like, oh. So I'm going to flash forward, and I went to that interview, and he gave me the job. And so this January, I changed jobs. 6 years. 6 years I've been at Adapt, and I switched jobs. And it was really hard. And I will tell you that right before I made the decision, I found Christy at ER, and I'm like, Christy, I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh. And she said something like, you need to use your God-given skills to people who really want it. And I said, oh. And so I did. But before that, I skipped around because it happens. I switched jobs in January. But let's go back to last year. In April of 2019, I walked through those doors. And I did not get here with the best intentions. I will be honest and say I thought this guy was cute, and he said, I go to Faith Foundry, and he said, you want to go to church with me? And I said, okay. Okay, I'll go where you go. And so I did. Yeah, he always claims credit. But what's really cool is like he always does, right? What's really cool is today, the relationship is ended, and I wish him best, and he wishes me best, and that's okay. That's okay today, right? It's okay today. So I walked through the doors in April, I'm like, woo! And I walked in, and all of a sudden, boom! I was like, hit! I was so uncomfortable when I walked in the room. Maybe Jeremy knew that. He knows everything. Did you know that, Jeremy Graham? So I walked in the room, and I was like, boom! And it hit me. And let me just be honest with you, I bet some of you newbies felt the same way. It hit me so hard that I wanted to turn around and run. I was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. It's like, oh my gosh. And I sat down, and everybody's like, woo! And I'm like, what is going on? And they were like, yeah, I don't even know, man. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then Jeremy would be like, okay, everybody put your hands up. Everybody stand up. So I was like, oh, God. I stand up, and he's like, okay, everybody put your hands up. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. So I can't, but I'll tell you, there was 4 or 5 people in this room that day in April that I used to use with 12 years ago. And in my judgmental mind, those people were way worse than me back then. That's what I thought, because, And that's how I used to think. And they were clean. And they had been in this room or with the Grammons in some form this whole time. And I was like, wait a minute. Something's going on in here, and I want to know what. And I wasn't going to stop till I found out. Because these people were like glowing and beautiful and all this good stuff, and I was like, I want some of that. I want some of that. But I couldn't say that. I don't think I said that. I was like, oh, I saw Dave. I gave him a hug, And Chrissy, I avoided Chrissy like the plague for like the first few months, man. Because let me just tell you, when she looks at you, she looks in you. It's true, is it not true? And I was so scared that she would see me. So scared. And I had met Dave before, and he exuded this warmth and this love and this welcoming and this, that I was like, oh, that guy is so cool. I want to exude that. So I began going to Faith Foundry, and I call it phases. Like first phase, right? You're sitting in the chair, and everybody's putting their hands up, and you're like, okay. And then you stand up, and you're like, okay, I can do that. That's phase 1, right? And then you're like, That's phase 2, right? Remember? Come on, don't lie. Who's at phase 2? Phase 2. I was so uncomfortable. I was like, and I would like watch the screen and like I would read the words, this Waymaker, because I couldn't really get it, and I was like, yeah, you know, and man, I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable for many months, but I kept coming, and if I didn't get the seat right by the person I came with, man, I was just like, oh, I gotta get there. I was safe, you know, like home, you know. And so I began watching everyone, right? Because I'm a counselor by trade, I'm observant, I notice it. I don't mean to notice everything, but I do. And I can also hear things, see things, read things, sense things, feel things that, you know, that some of us who are gifted can. But so I would pick up on things like, wow. And I would look at Jeremy. I would look at Jeremy and he'd just be like, you know, and he had this like when he told you to do something, he meant it. Everybody get up, you know? But he meant it in such a nice like push, you know? And you couldn't help it. You're like, okay, you know? And I really liked how he, I don't know the right word. So I liked how he led us firmly, right? But with love, right? Because Jeremy wants you to prosper and be better, but you know what? Let's go, he says, you know what I mean? Because if he wouldn't have told me to get up and raise my hands, I never would have. Never would have. So I don't remember the day or time or whatever. Pretty sure it had to do with music, but I got there, right? Oh, I do remember. I stood up at ER and I was like, I got 30 days. You guys remember? I got 30 days. 30 days of accepting Jesus openly. Because I was here, and now I'm like, woo! I don't remember when that was. I don't remember when that was, but I was so proud of myself. I'm like, I can do it! I can raise my hands to phase 3 and I don't care who's watching. Because I did care who was watching for a long time. So, and then I met Christy. I remember she came up to me, she's like, I was talking to Dave and she's like, hello. You know you do that. She's like, hello. And I could hear what she was thinking. Who is this? What is she all about? And she's like, hi, how are you? I'm Christy. And I'm like, I need to run away really, really, really fast. Because remember that even though you got 12 years sober, and even though I can get up here and tell you my story, it doesn't mean I'm secure. It doesn't mean I have all the self-worth in the world. It doesn't mean I don't have insecurities. It doesn't mean I'm not afraid. So I was afraid of Christy. But why do you think I was afraid of her? Because she was going to help me, and she was going to play a pivotal role in my life, and I knew it. I knew it. I knew this lady got me, and I knew this lady got me instantly. And I knew I was really attracted to her, but I was scared. Bleep. I was really scared. I didn't say the word. I was really scared. So as time went on, I had some difficulties in the relationship because I'm not perfect, and I'm an addict, and I certainly don't do things right or healthy all the time. So my advice is if you want to see your character defects come out, get into a relationship, okay? If you forgot that you were jealous, controlling, an asshole, and you had rage, get into a relationship. But then get Christy and Dave. It was so anyway, I had some difficulties, and the relationship broke up, and I stopped coming to church, but I started working with her, and we met every week, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for her tolerance because I'm not really an angry person. Like, I've worked really hard on that temper, but let me just tell you, I was angry for like 3 weeks. I was like, and she would just listen. And she had me walking in Stewart Park, which is probably pretty good for an ADHD chick like me. So, and I was mad. I was like, point, nope. And I'd get there, and she'd be like, okay, blah, 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 okay. And she'd listen. And when I was just completely off the chain, she'd be like, you know better. I'm like, I know. But I want to. But I know it's not right. I want to blame. And anyway, so week 2 rolls by. I made a little progress, but and this and that. Okay, she says, okay, all right. And then she lets me do the deal, and she lets me wind my way back to health. And then she gives me some tips, and then off we go. So week 3, I show up. I'm like, yeah, I feel a little better. And she's just like, I remember what she said. Because I had done this it's like a broken record. I think she was waiting. I was waiting. I didn't know I was waiting, but I was waiting for me to get through that wall. Once you hit that wall and you get over that, it breaks through. I was waiting for my breakthrough. But I was just spinning around in anger. Oh, I remember me and Raymond talked to me for the longest time one night. Saved my life. He spoke life into me, spoke life into me, spoke life into me. Because I was like anger, destruction, resentment. I just was there, man. Because when we get deeply wounded, when we get hurt because we have feelings, it's not great. And so you get angry. I wouldn't suggest staying angry for 3 weeks, but you can try it if you want. And so on week three, right, I was like, she didn't have anything great to say. All she could say was, okay, all right. Unplug from him, plug into God. Unplug from him, plug into God. Just over and over, and she'd already been telling me that. But I was stuck. So I knew it wasn't about him, and it was about me, and I knew that this was about my journey. It had nothing to do with the past relationship. It had nothing to do with that. It was about me and what I was going to learn about myself. So week 4, there was a breakthrough. I don't remember what, when, or how. I think it was radical acceptance. I think it was sitting in my bedroom going, okay, all right. I'll take a look at me. I'll do the work. I'll trust you. That's what it was. I trust you, God. I trust you, Jesus. I trust you. I trust that everything that you've put in front of me today is supposed to be there, even if it hurts and I don't like it. And I didn't like it. So we began working together, and we began processing, and I got better, and then I came back to church because I couldn't come to church for a while. I was angry, and he comes to this church, and but realized that today it's all good. But I couldn't come to church because I was angry. So I came back to church, and guess what? It's fine. Yes. Guess what? I had done the work on me. It wasn't about them. It's not about them. It's not about the past relationship. It's not about blame. It's about you. So I was ready. I came back to church, and I was like, yeah, and I sat by her because I could not sit anywhere else. I felt unsafe. So I came back to church, and I began to worship, and I began to pray, and I began to listen. I remember a distinct moment of clarity that I ran up to Jeremy and one time, because I really liked Jeremy, because he was so I was observing how the Holy Spirit just, it's in him, it takes him over, and I can see it when he's up here, right? I can see the energy around people real easy, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. And his was so big, and I was like, wow. And I saw him get up here, and he was just overtaken, and he wasn't ashamed, none of it. He would just get wrecked up here, and I'd be like this, because it was just it was amazing. And I would watch Holly, how she would play the keyboards, and she would notice, and then she would pick up, and she would start to sing, and she would let him, and I noticed how they worked together, And then one day I saw the drums, but I heard the drums. And I'm like, that's their son. That is so cool, right? And then the bass player, and she smiles, and she's it just exudes this beauty. And then what is this box called? I always wondered, what is this? Oh, well, the other daughter plays this. Man, she's got this beautiful hair, and she says, hi, how are you? She doesn't really know me. Just this family was just real beautiful. And the Carters, let me tell you, are they here? Yes. Haley, oh man, I ran up to Haley one time. I was like, dude, let me see how I can say this. So Haley and I know each other from the past, but I was clean and sober. I think she was just starting out. And, and I didn't really know her that well. She'd in and out. I just saw this tattoo right here, right? In and out. And now I saw Haley up here, just getting down, But what I noticed is the Holy Spirit washed over her and in her and through her, and she was not embarrassed, ashamed, whatever. She was in it to win it, right? And I remember I ran up to her and was like, hey, remember way back when, you were just starting out and I had time and like I was maybe teaching you or something. And now you're teaching me, I told her. You're teaching me how to love God. And she was kind of like, what? You know? Because it was, and so it was really cool. So I remember when I ran up to Jeremy because I just didn't get Jeremy. I just didn't get him, but I was in awe of him and I loved him as a leader. And I watched Holly support him and I was like, hey. I just ran right up to him, hey. Because, I don't have any boundaries. I'm kind of spastic. So I was like, hey, Jeremy, do you know what I don't understand about you? I was like, what is that? What is that right there, right here? It's like noisy. It's I don't know what it is. It's like something. I don't remember what I said. And he just real flatly, well, that's the Holy Spirit speaking to me all the time. And then it clicked. And then I got Jeremy. I get it. I got it. And so I guess that I have to get people to accept people, right? That's what it sounds like. So I've been coming to Faith Foundry, and I've been doing my healing work. So here's what I want to emphasize, because I'm almost done here. And here's the most important part of my story, is that I am 48 years old. I know you can't believe it. Oh, my God. Anyway, I'm 48 years old. I have 12 years of sobriety, right? And I have never been able to measure the healing that I experienced in the weeks that I worked with Christy ever. Here's how it went. Anger, and then I surrendered to God. And then then I was a little bit better that next week. A little bit better. And a little bit better. I'm telling you, I've never been able to measure healing as quickly and as big and as boundless. I swear. I measured it and measured it and measured it. And pretty soon it was here, and I went back to church, and it was David's Tent, I think, when you're having David's Tent. And they played my favorite songs. Don't you guys know when you go into church, you're like, what are these songs? And then a few months into it, you're like, oh, that's my favorite song. That's what Max said. That's my favorite song. And Jeremy hit us with the good ones that day. And he didn't do the preaching. He said, we're just going to worship. And and he hit us with the good songs like Waymaker, and This Is How I Fight My Battles, and I don't even remember, but he was like, boom, boom, and he built the momentum, because I watched that too. They built the momentum, right? And I remember I was sitting next to somebody. He's here, but I won't point him out. And he doesn't know me that well, and let's just say anyway. Maybe my work life, maybe they knew my work life more than they knew me. And I was like, what are they going to think? And I was like, I don't care. And I was like, and I was like, this is how I fight, yeah! I was like, woo! I was just like getting it. I was right up in there. I sang and worshiped so loudly that I actually caught these two staring at me. What is she doing? All right. And I worshiped so loud and so hard that my feet hurt the next day and I was sore. Right? When was David's Tent? When was that? 2 weeks ago? About 2 weeks ago? Okay, so in June. This is the end of July. Great, so it's about 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So the important part is that I ran outside afterwards and I went, Dave! He's like, yeah, what? And I was like, I feel 99% healed. Yeah. 99% healed. I don't know where that 1% is, I don't know. But maybe it's because I have control issues and I just want to keep that 1%. Maybe. I'm not well, people. I didn't say I was well. So I was 99% healed from the pain and the suffering that I thought wasn't my fault, but it was. I was 99% healed from the choices, the selfish choice I made to get what Candy wanted because it felt good, and that's what I thought I needed to do. And I was 99% healed from that life choice that blew up my life. I blew up my life, people, in January. I blew it up. And when I did, I left an employer of 6 years. My cat died on Martin Luther King Day, and I don't know about you guys, but it was devastating. I can't even probably talk about it. I can talk about, abuse, but if I talk about my cat die, I'm going to crumble, you know what I'm saying? So my cat died very suddenly, and then I had my last week at Adapt, and Saturday I blew up my relationship. I lost my temper, and I was raging. And I felt so bad. But anyway, so I relapsed on anger, and then Monday I started my new job. I was like, hi, Elizabeth. It's my first day. And I was like, whew, I don't really feel that bad. I just blew my life the beep up, and I'm okay. It's good, right? I'm good. Hi, Elizabeth. But little did I know, there was a delay. There was a delay. A week later, boom, hit me. It all hit me. She was there. Elizabeth was in my office. She's like, maybe you better talk to Christy about this. My point is, if I wouldn't have been going to Faith Foundry, if I wouldn't have made that choice a year ago, that selfish decision, and if I wouldn't have acted in my character defects and hurt another human being, I wouldn't be here. And if I wouldn't have been going to Faith Foundry and trying to figure out these Graham people and these Carter people and run from Christy, I wouldn't be here. So God placed me. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that I followed that guy with these weird beard braids into this room. He's got such a good sense of humor. I'm sorry. Oh, I did. So we are still friends, and I'm happy for him in his relationship, and I'm happy for me that I don't have one. Because trust me, I could have one. No, just kidding. I don't need one today. What the great part is that I don't need one. And what the great part is that relationship that fell apart, I learned so much about myself, about God, and I followed that bearded biker in here, and I was like, let's go. Oh my gosh. And here I am. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the messenger. I'm grateful for the mess. I'm grateful that I met Christy and I didn't run from her. I'm grateful that I listened to her. And I'm grateful that today, 30 days into that new job, the boss came into my office and he shut the door. And he said, I got to talk to you. And I thought I was fired because that's how I feel all the time. And he said, I would like you, he wanted to give me a promotion, right? 30 days into it, right? So all along, God tells you that you're worthwhile. All along, God tells you that you're okay. All along, God tells you that he's going to lift you up. He's going to take care of you. Now, COVID hit and took that opportunity away. It's on hold. But that's okay. So today, I have a son. You saw the pictures. He's 12. I'm going to close with this. That little baby face right there, that's when I got clean. The next one, he's naked on that train. I can't wait to show that at his birthday. Like 16, it's going. Look at that face right there, that Hollywood face with the striped shirt. That's his Hollywood face. That's like, look at the happiness on that boy's face. Okay, that is Jason Momoa. He is my boyfriend. Just kidding. I took him to go meet Jason Momoa because here's the deal. If it wasn't for recovery and healing, that little boy would be in a foster home somewhere. That little boy would be somewhere with grandma. And let me tell you, like I said, grandma's crazy. So, and I get those bonus kids, and we went camping, and I was at a wedding. And look, I took him to Crater Lake last year, and we rode that boat on Wizard Island. And then in the middle there, I'm sweating like a fiend. But we're at that, what's that place called? I'm going to lose, I don't know. Oh, the magnetic pull. It's like right by Grants Pass. Vortex. So I took him to the Vortex, and then right there we were at in Bandon. So what I want to close with is, right here, this is what matters. This is what matters the most. Because I've broken the chain of addiction, because I've practiced in my healing with Christy, because I try to listen to Jeremy and Holly and all of them and Carla, because I pay attention to these people and I want what they have, this little boy has a steady, supportive, focused, a steady, supportive, present mother who loves him. And he can depend on him. He can depend on me. He knows I'm going to come home tonight with Subway or something. Now, I will say that, I struggle with showing him God because when he was little, he was all into it. And he's 12 now, so he stinks and he eats video games. He plays too many video games and he eats junk food. But we're working on that. Christy's helping me, right? And we talked, what did he say? He asked me if heaven was real the other day, and I thought I was going to buckle. And I was like, Christy, what do I say? She gave me some framework, and we talked about it. So I'm working on showing my boy, Caden, who's 12, who God is and how he works. I invite him to church every Sunday, but he says no, but someday maybe he'll say yes. Because of this program and because of God and because of recovery, he has a mom today. And I don't know about you guys, but that is exactly why I'm here today, other than helping others through. So I want to thank you for listening tonight. I hope I made some sense. I do want to do one thing, and we're going to close. I'm going to be Jeremy. We're going to do one thing, and we're going to close, okay? Everybody listen. All right, so this is one of my favorite pivotal moments. Favorite moments of yours, Jeremy. it was just like, oh my gosh, and I was filled. Okay, so I want you all to stand up. Do it. Okay, I want you all to stand up. This is one of my favorite moments, okay? I'm gonna split the room down the middle. Okay, Sean, Chris, turn and look at each other. I want everybody over here to turn and look at this side, and I want everybody over here to turn and look back at them. So, you got it? Good. Okay, you guys are so good. All right. So, what he did was this. They were singing my favorite song, This Is How I Fight My Battles. And he had this side of the room, as loud as you can, say, This is how I fight my battles. And you were screaming it to these guys, right? And then count one, and then you guys say it back. And he was like, whoever's the loudest wins. Let's see who can do it. It was so cool. So that's what we're going to do. Are you ready? And if I don't see you singing, I'm watching you. If I don't see you singing, I'm coming for you. All right? All right? Okay, you got the instructions? Ready? I'm going to count to 3. This is how I fight my battles. And then you guys, this is how I fight my battles. We'll probably do it 3 or 4 times, and then we'll be done. Are you ready? Woo! All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. This is how I fight my battles. 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 Woo-hoo! Good job, everybody. Good job, everybody. Thank you.